on. Hey, pop stars, welcome to another episode of the Wind Down Rewind. I'm Ed.
And I'm Tammy.
How's it been, Tammy? How you been doing?
Good, good, good. I've very excited about some of the topics we're going to be talking about today.
Me too. And we got a lot to get to, and so we hopefully won't run longer than normal. Let's just get to it. Um, I want to start this week recapping some of the stuff from the previous, like that dude who was unalived in front of everybody. His funeral or memorial turned out to be more of a political rally. I see that look. Then maybe it was a cultural thing because we don't do homegoings like that. We do some celebrations, but that was batshit crazy.
I think it was what we thought it was going to be. I think like last time we spoke on it when it first happened, just understanding that his death was being co-opted by the right and people who support the president and these authoritarian, decisions and policies being put in place. And you also knew that just based on like the first reactions to his death. So kind of seeing it was like not shocked at all. At all. It was just like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, because y'all all acting like y'all was his friend when you weren't. You didn't talk to that man. You didn't hang out with that man. You wasn't calling that man up to see, like, what he thought about certain like policies and events that were happening in history and everything. Like, y'all wasn't cool. That man ain't know you. You ain't know that man. But y'all are gonna go on the stage and pretend that you did. These were people that you have never seen instance of them having conversation or talking about him until he died, and you're on stage giving full speeches, and the speeches is like, take everybody out that don't agree. Like, everyone who doesn't agree with me, take them out. I'm taking all of them out when you don't agree with me. And I'm just like, whoa, like, when did we get to that level? Like, really? Like, that's where we at? And yeah. And I don't think it was true grieving either. It wasn't true grieving. It was co-opting his funeral in order to, like you said, have a rally.
Yeah. And in the even the far right Nazis have a broke clock moment. Nick Fuentes, God help us all, he said the same thing and he posted something. I'm like, damn, hell really is freezing over because I find myself agreeing with Nick Fuentes. And it was just like, it was so performative. Now, everyone grieves differently, but that was crazy. Even for that moment, how you couldn't even take the time to just do something normally, if that makes sense. So it was crazy. Also, follow up from the last show. I know there's been a lot of stuff going around about Trey Reed and the autopsy and what it found, but I did some digging and they have not released, according to Ben Crump, who is the lawyer for the family, they have not officially released the findings from the autopsy. But when they do, then it will be official statements. Because I was reading all the stuff and I saw a lot of the same messages and posts, and I'm like, but I haven't heard anything from the family,
And family.
and I haven't heard anything from Crump. All the posts, and I get it, but I think just to prematurely say these things without it being official, especially from us, I think is irresponsible. And a lot of the other sites where I saw this from were from podcasters or TikTokers who are us, meaning Black. And so I think we should just wait till we really hear from the family in the official second autopsy that they did. Now, if the things that are being reported so far are true, it wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't. But I just think we owe it to them and owe it to ourselves, owe it to his memory to wait till the truth is actually made official, or if that makes sense. Okay. Now, gosh, where do we start? Because with Cheeto 47, it's always government shutdown. Republican owned, they run the House, the Senate, the presidency. They control the government. This is their shutdown. This is what they wanted. Tweet it or truth or whatever the shit his crap is called, that now that the government is shut down, he fully owns Project 2025. He's like, I'm going to let Russ Vought do what he's been wanting to do, and that's shut down these Democrat agencies. I'm sorry, these Democrat agencies were the ones that were keeping y'all fed and you being able to see a doctor, especially those of you out in rural places where most of your hospitals are being closed, where Walmart is the only place where you can get any type of health care. Those little clinics and those Walmarts are going to be shutting down, where Walmart's the only place where you can get in groceries, where y'all already don't have broadband or high-speed internet access. Shit is about to get worse for y'all in rural America because you continuously vote for against what's in your best interest.
Uh-huh.
Those of you in red states that are not Texas, shit is about to get worse for you because you continually vote against your worst interests. Because the states that are getting most of this welfare are red states. So, and let's connect the dots. I need to do a graphic. This is Epstein. This is the government shutdown. The reason why the House is not meeting is because Adelina won in Arizona and he can't continue not to swear her in. And she is the final vote that they need for the House to officially and legally do something, investigate the Epstein shit. So it's all connected.
Connected.
Connect the dots. Okay. All right, Tammy, it's yours.
I agree with you. I think that when I talk about the shutdown, I always have to do what you just did, right? On saying who controls the Senate? Republicans. Who controls the House? Republicans. Who controls the presidency? Republicans. Who controls the Supreme Court? Republicans. When you control every single branch of government, anything that goes wrong in our government, it's at your doorstep. All right. And they are trying so hard. Mike Johnson is out there working. Okay. He finally working for that money that he's making to try
And
to
he ain't on
spin it.
his
Not even on his knee. You're right. You're right. To try to spin it so that people can really be calling it not a Republican shutdown, but a Democrat shutdown. That's no, mm-mm. Even as you go on the government sites, all the government sites are labeling it that way, right? Trying to spin this. The only ones you're getting to believe that is the people that are already so far up your ass that they don't know any better. That's the only people that is going to believe that, right? Like the only ones is the ones who lack the intelligence to understand that when you run every single branch of government, you cannot blame the other side because they don't want to bend the knee to your bullshit. Like you just like it, that's not how it works. And so to think that all because you don't want to release a file that y'all claim as Republicans is on like y'all's level, right? Like they say they're the party of family. They're the party of law and order, all right? And then when we want law and order, where are you at? Where are you at? Like y'all lie so much and you claim so many things. And then when it's time for y'all to step up, you don't step up. I miss the 90s Republicans. I miss the early 2000 Republicans. I really do, where you could have a conversation with them and we'd be like, we're going to agree to disagree. But I see where you're coming from, though. Like, at least I may not agree with what you're saying, but I see where you're coming from. I see like where your political loyalties lie and why you are a Republican. Now, I'm going to be honest. I don't understand anyone who still claims to be a Republican. I don't understand where you stand for. When you are a Republican, you stand for fascism now. As a Republican, you are in support of PDFs. Okay. When you are a Republican, you're in step with authoritarianism. When you're a Republican, you're in step with Russian dominance, right? You're on the side of Russia in the war between Russia and Ukraine, okay? On a another country invading a sovereign nation in order to just steal territory from them just because you want to. All right? When you're a Republican, you are in line with that other country that is literally starving people and committing a genocide and attacking other countries who are trying to just get humanitarian aid to those people who need it. You're on the side of them. Like you're on the side of anti-humanism. You're not on the side of humans, okay? You're not a nice person, all right? Like
time.
healthcare. You don't want people to have healthcare. You're lying about the fact that undocumented people get health care. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's illegal. That's not how that works. And people believe in it and be like, they're coming in, they're taking your jobs. What jobs? Tell me no jobs. Where the jobs at? Please. Like what jobs are they taking from me specifically? Like what jobs are they taking from me specifically?
The black
Okay?
job.
Huh?
The black job.
Which one the black jobs? Because the black jobs that they be claiming ain't been our jobs since 1865. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like
Make
that.
America
Like,
great again. Go back.
mm,
I agree. Shoot them in the face, Cheney. At least you knew where they stand. And I think the thing that I could respect is they had a red line. There were some lines that even they wouldn't cross.
Nixon is a perfect example of that because Republicans are the ones who impeached
Their
Nixon.
own president.
Yeah, they impeached their own. Yeah.
And now these Republicans are too scared. And again, I'm so sick of hearing most of them, what most of them say behind closed doors. I need you to stand on business because he's a bully. And it's already been proven that if you attack him, meaning if you fight back, he's going to cave, but they won't fight back. I will say I'm going to use proud just because there's no other word I can think of at this particular moment. Okay, I found the word just as I said that. I agree with Jeffries and Schumer, and I support their stand of how they're standing up against this for once. You know, they're not caving for once. This is the same shutdown that probably should have happened a few months ago, but they were too scared to let it happen because of what he would do. But he did it anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I still don't think they're the men for the moment. I think hopefully if and when we get control of the Senate and Congress in the midterms, that the Democrats will elect new leadership. You don't think they will? I agree, but one could hope. But I also want people to know that Fox News, even on Fox News, because that's the green standard for the MAGA, faux news, they've even started putting out polls showing the truth about the economy, how shit is not getting better, it's getting worse. That August jobs report was bogus. You said you gained 54,000 jobs. Where? The actual report is you lost 3,000 jobs. So the economy's on the decline. The farmers are mad about Venezuelan bailout or the Argentinian bailout. You're bailing out the Argentinian government and their economy, but you're leaving your farmers for shit. And that is their biggest rival because China, who is their biggest customer, is now buying soybeans from their biggest rival, who you're just about to spend $20 billion to their government to bail out of. But you won't bail your own farmers out, which make sense. But again, MAGA, y'all voted for this. Shut down employees. The ones who were there in 2018, 2019, because it seemed like every year that he was president, just about there was a shutdown, or every year and a half, that first go around. A government employee, you voted for him the first time, shut down. You voted for him again, it's another shutdown. What is it going to take for y'all to learn your lesson? You know, and then every week you see something when he does something. You see videos of Harris during the election telling us this is what he's going to do. Then you see the fact checks of all the papers and mainstream media calling her a liar. And now it turns out to be, hey, she was telling the truth. When we were telling you Project 2025 was real, we were telling you the truth. And again, y'all are like, I voted for this because he was supposed to do this to other people, not to me. The bullshit was supposed to bullshit. It just wasn't supposed to fall down on me. So now that they shitting all over you, trying to tell you it's a chocolate bath, what you gonna do? Like,
That
and
chocolate.
I don't want to say I don't care, but because I do, because it is my country, and yes, it affects me too. But my empathy/sympathy level for you fucking idiots is pretty much non-existent at this point. I'm mad for other reasons because we didn't have to be here. It didn't have to be this way. And I don't want to go through the cycle of where y'all elect a Democrat to fix this if we are able to ever get out of this bullshit. And then you turn around and elect another fucking incompetent Republican to put us back in this mess. Like the cycle. I need you to finally learn your lessons. And Tammy is shaking her head like, I don't think it's going to happen. And
So one thing when I'm talking to my mom about all of this that I continue to say is there's not one man that holds all the blame. And Democrats as well as Republicans, when we're over this hump, hopefully, I pray that we are at some point over this hump, are going to try to put all the blame on one man. It's not on one man, it is on the whole entire system. And for someone who, no matter what anybody says, loves my country full on, believes in the idea that we continue to strive to be a perfect nation. And yes, I know perfection is, in a way unattainable, but we strive for it. We're supposed to strive for it still every single day in the policies and the laws and how we take care of the citizens that live in this country. And I used to tell people when I was growing up, and I would, complain and, give an opposing opinion about certain policies and laws that were put into place. And people be like, well, if you don't like it, you can leave. And I'd be like, no, because I wouldn't want to be born anywhere else. And I honestly say that. Like, I am an American citizen. And as an American citizen, one thing that we've always been able to do is criticize our government. Always. And that is how change has always happened in this country, by people criticizing the government. That is how, when we had a slew of white presidents before Obama in '08, the way that you got policies and laws put in place where it was under that president's name was by complaining to about the government and to our government officials. We wouldn't be where we are if there were not Black people who went and talked to FDR, or who went and talked to JFK, or who even went and talked to Abraham Lincoln to get him to change the reasonings for the Civil War, because that man had no care in the world about slavery until abolitionists, especially Black abolitionists, pushed him to change the direction and the focus of the Civil War. He wouldn't have done it on his own. And I need people to understand that. It is not just on Trump. It is on every single Republican who is sitting back and allowing our country to be destroyed because of the power that they're going to gain from this. And the thing is that to think that this is the type of power that you want, this is the type of power that you want. You want a country that is laughed at. You want a country that lacks education and intelligence. You want a country that when you're dead and gone, nobody is going to be on the level to take over and continue. Like, you're okay with, when you're gone, this country declining and ultimately disappearing.
Well, you gotta look at people, they would rather rule over the ashes than nothing at all. Isn't that the saying? And um his enablers, even in the Democratic Party, are
Yeah, because I want to
and
talk
I
about Jeffries and Schumer, because
no, I'm talking about others. Talking about the new version of Manchin Lurch from Pennsylvania. But his enablers, and you can even go back to Pelosi and all of them enabling this by doing their fucking July surprise, that really, it pisses me off every time. And I really get surprised because I thought you were too politically astute to do some bullshit like that, especially at a time like this, knowing what was at stake. It just, I'm with you. You got to blame the whole system, because he didn't get here. It didn't happen in a microscope. It didn't happen in a vacuum. It happened the first time Democrats didn't fight back against McConnell, when they let McConnell hold up the Supreme Court votes.
and they didn't fight dirty.
And
That's
they
what I
didn't
want to say.
fight dirty.
They didn't fight dirty.
You should take a you should take a play out of McConnell's book, because for those first 2 years of Obama's presidency, every time Republicans are in the minority, they still find a way to fucking fuck up shit. But we don't. We just let shit happen. And by doing that, you enable, and I need them to realize the days of good old boy politics, the old school days that we were talking about, they are gone. And I don't think they'll ever come back, at least not for generations.
We don't want them to.
No, but I think I want the not respectability politics to come back, but I want people to come back who respect the Constitution.
Yes. Yes.
So that part of respect. to come back to know that that's the line. If it violates the Constitution, that is the fucking line. I need a court in there who knows their job is to uphold the Constitution. I need all these people to remember you took an oath to the fucking Constitution, not a man, but the Constitution and its
And
ideals.
not your bias and not your own personal beliefs. You didn't take an oath to your bias and your own personal beliefs.
Or
You
to the
took
Koch
an
brothers, or to
Yeah, you took an
Bill, or to
oath to the
whoever's putting money.
Constitution of the United States, a document that has been in play for over 200 years. I want to say probably one of the longest constitutions that
In the
has,
world. It is.
yeah, the longest constitution with the least amount of changes to it. Like that's something to be proud about in our country.
It used to be because it showed stability, but now you know it's just it's sad to see how far you've let an old decrepit racist take you. Now, you know, and someone said it brought back no racism. Don't get it twisted. Racism was never gone. It was always still here. It just kind of, you know, it was hiding in the shadows a little bit, but it was still here. So, you know, but speaking of this old decrepit thing, girl, why the fuck are you gonna call every singing fucking general and admiral commandant from around the world, even in places we didn't know we had admirals and generals and commandants and all that? Why the fuck are you gonna call them to one place? Now, not only did you call them from, now usually if you do some shit like that, it's gonna be what? Secret.
Mhm.
You're not going to advertise to the world that you calling out all your top military bosses, putting them in the same room in one place at the same time. And then the fucking president of the United States is going to be in that same room with all your top generals and leaders and your fucking secretary of defense for them to get up there and I don't even know what to call that shit. Like, it was embarrassing. The president of the United States talked about stairs, how to climb stairs. Then was mad because he didn't get a talk show welcome. They're supposed to be apolitical. They don't clap for political speeches. Your little cosplay rally was not going to work on them. But what would have been really funny is if when he told them, y'all can do what y'all want to do. If y'all don't want to be here, you could walk out. If they all would have bounced, like, that shit would have been funny. And then Hegseth and his sexist, racist, body shaming rant of, I don't know what. Dude, you're a fucking drunk from Fox News who played Weekend Warrior. Go sit the fuck down somewhere. Like, if someone wanted to attack us at that time, at Chronicle, at that exact same place, because apparently all you had to do was look on Google Maps and know where to drop the drone and kill every top leader in the fucking United States military, they could have done so. Like, what the fuck? Okay, I think I'm done. Almost. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. I could do a better job than that. I played Battleship and I have more of a right to be the fucking Secretary of Defense than this fucker. And then talking about women can't do that because you don't want your son serving in the military with what? Someone who could probably kick their ass? Okay, I'm done now. I'm
Funny. You're
sorry.
so funny. I agree. I think, I love the rant.
I'm
That's
sorry.
all we can do at this point, right? I think something else, when I mentioned and I spoke about, this fake meeting with calling all the generals to listen to a speech by two men who have never truly served, one who has never truly served, and another one who is a draft dodger multiple times.
Because of Lone
Who are
Stars.
now in charge of our military. Understand that every single person in that room was a higher rank than our Secretary of Defense and the President of the United States, right? And the only way the president is commander in chief is because he happens to be the president, right? But also, they having to listen to someone who has no respect, who has no understanding of their job, of the job of the military, but also who has no true respect for the military. You can say words all you want, but at the end of the day, your actions speak volumes. And you showing your actions that you have no respect for the leaders of our military. You have no respect for our 4-star generals. All right. Maybe that's why none of them would step up to serve as your, what is it? Joint Chief of Staff? What's the military one called?
The Secretary of Defense? Or
No.
the Joint Chiefs? like his
Yeah,
security.
yeah. I was like, am I correct in it? The Joint Chiefs of Staff, when you get generals from all branches of the military, right? They couldn't find a 4-star general to serve on the Joint Chiefs of Staff. They had to go down to 3 stars in order to find individuals who'd be willing to serve um as part of the Joint Chief of Staff. All right. So you already know kind of like where the military stands. Then also to know that there are female generals in the military. There are black generals in the military. There are Hispanic generals in the military. I'm not sure, but I'm going to assume there's at least one Asian general in the military. So there are, yeah, like the military is predominantly white, but you do have other races and ethnicities and cultures that are represented in the military. And for them to all sit there and listen to you spew out nonsense, for you to talk about the fact that you are going to eliminate the avenues that women can take in order to report sexual assaults and sexual violence against them, which is rampant throughout the military. Everybody knows this. They've never really taken the steps to really, solve those types of issues, but at least they've put some guards in place to help women who experience that in the military. For you to think that women have a different physical requirement than men, like they don't have to pass the same physical test as men. If men have to run 3 miles with 60 pounds on their back, women have to run 3 miles with 60 pounds on their back. Like, I don't know why they have this mindset that they lower the standards for women. Like, no, women
Because
have
the
to.
standards have been lowered for them because they're nothing but mediocre ass white men who couldn't pass the regular standards anyway. Like
Right,
you
you're
are a
right.
fucking weekend warrior. You have no business. You want to lower the standards for sexual assault because you've been accused of multiple sexual assault.
You're right. Every single job that he's had, there have been instances where he's been accused of sexual assault. And so I just it's just sad. Like it is just sad. I said this the first show back, how traumatized I am every single time that something else happened. We are only 10 months in, and the amount of trauma and the fact of seeing, especially when you are a history buff, especially when you know more about the history of your country than most Americans do. And how far we had to go to elect someone like Barack Obama to become the first Black president of the United States. How far we had to go. And then the reaction to him being elected twice against white men, and the hard fall that we've had. And it's really, really sad. Like I talk about it and I'm just like, at this point, I'm so traumatized. Like, it's just another day in the neighborhood. I agree with you when you said, like, it's not that I lack empathy for what's going on in our country, but to be honest, y'all fucking asked for it. You asked for it. This is what you asked for, and you're getting exactly what you asked for. And for people who are saying that Black people aren't doing anything, you sure fucking right we're not doing anything. We're going to sit our ass down and we're going to continue to live the life that we've been living when it was just us on the front lines, when it was just our bodies in the streets, okay? And y'all sitting at home comfortable, living off of our blood, sweat, and fucking tears. Every single right that you have. If you are Hispanic, thank. If you are Asian, thank us. Any other ethnicity or race in this country, every single right that you have, it is because of us. And when y'all don't want to hear that and you get upset about us saying that, that is to you. That's anti-Blackness. I don't fucking care what anybody says, okay? But yes, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to go to my job every single day and I'm going to do my job. And I'm going to continue to pay my bills and make sure that I have a roof over my head and food that I can eat and my car, gas in my car so that I can get to work, and I can do this every single fucking day. You sure? Right. And I'm not stepping foot in no street. I ain't marching for nothing, okay? Because it's y'all's turn. It's every single one of y'all's turn to get up off your ass and start doing what we've been doing for over 100 fucking years.
And
It's your
for what
turn. So I'm gonna sit back and I'm watching it. I need y'all where are y'all at? Don't ever ask me where Black people are. Don't ever ask me. I feel like the video that you sent me that I was watching. Like don't ask me where Black people are. Don't ask me where I stand on any of this. Where do you stand? Where do your people stand? What are y'all saying? Okay? Why is it that when we think about like even people in the Congress, right? When you think about those Democrats that are frontline and saying the powerful things, right? Who is it again? It's still black women. It's still black women, right? So please look. Where's y'all at? Where's your voice at? Okay, we got Ezra Klein who can't fucking understand the difference between a evil, hateful white man who just happened to be killed by his own people. And the fact that black people's like, hey, this all goes back to slavery, right? Because like, we still never dealt like, with the aftermath of the Civil War. Can we just move on from that? No, we can't. No, we can't. Because y'all have not resolved the role that you played.
Yeah. And I was reading something today where no other race, no other ethnicity has ever been asked to forget or deny their history. And every time, and I always say this, y'all love our rhythm. You want our rhythm. You want
Hmm.
us out there organizing, marching, protesting, being the leaders, coming up with all these
But y'all
slick
want those
sayings. You
blues.
want all of that, but you don't want our blues. You don't understand where this comes from. You don't understand how it's a way of life. And it is hard. It's hard to sit back and watch this and do nothing. Don't think
Yes.
it's easy, because it's not, because it's in our nature to fight, because we've always had to fucking fight for everything we have to fight 10 times harder. Again, I was explaining to someone the other day, you think affirmative action and DEI, however you want to rename it, retag it, benefited us. It doesn't. It didn't. It
But
may
we
have been
fought for
for
it.
us or about us, but it didn't benefit us. Okay. It's hard to sit back and watch it happen, especially when all you had to do was listen. And it gets to the point where we are a very forgiving people, but there's only so fucking long we gonna be ignored, because we are the inventors of petty and fuck around and find out. And so now you fucked around and we letting you find out. We taking it back, because again, no matter what happens, we can survive it because we've been there. We've survived it before as a collective. You don't want to listen to us when we told you about the racial profiling because it wasn't happening to you. You thought we were exaggerating.
Or
It's
they weren't.
not.
I will say, when it comes to the racial profiling, because I had a conversation with someone about it, and they thought that Hispanics weren't being racially profiled. Like, when you think back to like New York, right? And the racial profile policy that they had. And when it was made illegal, Hispanics thought that they were not being racially profiled with us. And I said, no, 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 you were. Like, you were being racially profiled because y'all have the stereotype of cartel connections, right? And so just like we got gang activity, y'all about the drug activity, right? Cartels. And so you were being racially profiled, but they weren't talking about it in the news. Whenever they talked about it, it was about us. So they had y'all thinking that y'all was chilling on the side and it only affected us. So it wasn't a you problem. Okay. But it was a you problem. But they lied to y'all, and the media told y'all that it was only black people that was in it. Not saying that, we were on equal footing when it came to racial profiling, but y'all was getting racially profiled in New York City the same way we were. And the news, every single time, the news wouldn't talk about it. They weren't doing data on the same level about what was going on in y'all's community because they wanted you to just focus on immigration. That's y'all's problem. That's y'all's issue. So y'all thinking like, oh, that was a black people problem, so that's not my problem. I'm gonna sit back. Y'all gonna have to figure out how to deal with that. So now, what you doing? Because they racial profiling you on your language. They racially profiling you on how you look. They racially profiling you on what type of car you drive, what neighborhood you live in, what type of job you have. They don't care about the fact that y'all own your own landscaping businesses. Y'all are entrepreneurs. Y'all making good money. They don't care about that. They don't care about the fact that when they see y'all working on their lawn, that the owner of the company is probably working right alongside you. They don't care about that because he's Hispanic. Okay. So where we at with that? Where are we at with that?
Because they think you're taking a black job. Because trust me, I ain't coming to do, I don't know nothing about landscaping. Don't want to know.
You ain't gonna get me in that hot sun. I could barely stand the South.
But so it's speaking along the terms of ICE and those stupid commercials where now all of a sudden it's okay to give student loan forgiveness. But I hate that the biggest profile arrest from these ICE raids or immigrant whatever has been a black man in Iowa. He was the superintendent of Iowa schools. And the more that comes out about him, I want to know who's doing y'all's background checks. Like, for real, how was this man even allowed in education, let alone allowed to get a superintendent? Now, his criminal history is like reading some of the criminal history, I'm like, okay, did y'all spot check this? Did y'all put it together to make it seem like, because it seems like really vague and kind of far off. So to me, there's two issues. Like, first of all, who the fuck did his background check? Like, did y'all just look at his LinkedIn page and his resume and say, oh, okay, this looks good. We gonna hire him? Because I know the most recent job I got, they checked all the references. I'm like, what is taking y'all so fucking long? I had to call my references and say, look, you get a call from this number, answer the fucking phone. Like, and I wasn't applying to be no superintendent of a school district, okay? Like, for real, for real. I was like, so how if so first of all, how is a man so woefully unqualified? But he was apparently really good at the job. Like, he was a good educator. Okay. But how was he able to scam the system? That's one thing. The second thing is, why did he have to be the biggest profile, highest, you know what I'm saying? Of this whole ice. So now he's going to be the face of this. And every time you read something, go to Google News. Instead of just going to a news site, just go to Google News and it'll give you the same stories from all these different news sites. And you can pick and, you can go so you can see, because mainstream US media is a joke because it's owned by the same five oligarchs, But I love when you look at Fox News, and even the whitehouse.gov said illegal alien. And I'm like, oh my God, stop. So just the way they're talking about it. So I get it, but it's still, I'm out of words.
So I think that, and we've talked about this before, that it has completely thrown them off on our stance when it comes to what's going on in our country right now. And by us, I mean Black people, on how we're reacting. And they are trying everything to throw against the wall. And I will say that certain things have worked for the younger generation who lacks the dedication to their people. But when it comes to voting age Black people, it ain't working. Everything that you say, everything that you do, we still not in the streets, right? Or if we are, we're sticking to our neighborhoods. Okay, we're protecting our own. We're not protecting other people's. We're protecting our own. I don't know. Like, I think because them coming out with this, and I was just like, is it all true?
Cute,
Is it
because reading
because
reading some of
I
that
don't,
history, I'm like, what?
yeah, it sounds so false, right? Like it sounds like rage bait. It sounds like they want to get someone that people can rally behind, right? So that we can get out of our homes and start marching in the streets. And even as we hear more and more, I got a question. Have we gotten out of our homes? Are we marching in the streets? Nah. We still going to our jobs. We still doing our work, and we still going home and closing our doors and chilling out at home. That like we still like, y'all, aren't y'all sick and tired? It ain't working. Like, it's not working. It's not working. And I will say again, in his neighborhood, where he's from, they're in the streets, they're fighting. Our people are in the streets and they're marching for him. But the rest of us across the country, nah, we chilling. We relaxing. We waiting for when y'all come for us. And they be like,
Well,
well, you should stop it before it gets to you. You should stop it before it gets to me. I did my part.
and because speaking of come for us, they tried with Chicago, and again, they
Yeah,
still didn't.
I
That
did.
was some bullshit. Like, what happened in Chicago? That made up fake ICE raid in Chicago was some fucking bullshit.
They
You
they
had
they big
children.
mad. They big mad.
You had fucking children. And then this bitch on CNN had the nerve to say, oh, there's a difference between being detained and arrested. Bitch, you try sitting watching your child be detained for 4 hours, and it's not cold in Chicago,
As
but still
American citizens, that's
in
what
the
that's
middle
what I
of
need
the
people to understand. Their American citizens are being attacked, and y'all talking real big, and that's why I say, like, I'm gonna sit my ass at home because y'all talking real big game. All right, and you're like, oh, when they get to American citizens, because they would never do it to American citizens, they're doing it now. Is it because we're Black? Is the Black American citizens? But here's the thing: Chicago ain't having that shit. Illinois not having that shit. They standing up for their community as they should.
so,
Okay.
Pritzker got him, the mayor of Chicago got him, so
Yeah. He said they're already filing lawsuits. Like,
You
and the
know,
thing is that one thing they're like, nah, but he needs to be in the streets and that. No, 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 baby. How you get these people is how you've always gotten them. And people need to understand that because you think the law isn't working. It is. Okay. A lot of stuff where they had to pull back is because of the lawsuits against them, where they had to back down because legally it was proven that they can't do what they do. That's how they got them out of LA and California, where now they're doing smaller pockets of it because when they tried to do large raids, California sued their ass.
and they know, and also when you know he's backing down, it's because you know his puppet court can't protect him.
Yeah.
If it makes it, because their shadow docket, don't be fooled, their shadow docket is coming up, which is all these Trump lawsuits. And so now that the court is officially out of session or on one of its recesses or whatever, they're about to listen to this shadow docket, which is full of Trump shit. And they about to hand him some massive wins. But there's some shit, like I said last show, that they know that they can't cut and parse. They can't cut and paste here. And there's some shit that they know legally they have no wiggle room on.
And they're going to have
Even
to be
though
very broad with their decisions, which means that on the surface is going to be a win for him, but they're going to have to still find a wiggle round because it's not going to be a direct win, right? So they're going to put it out there to the news and the media like, oh, it's a win. Trump wins this lawsuit, Trump wins that. But when you really like read the details of it, they also are telling him like, okay, you're going to have to figure out another way to word this because the way that you were, while we're giving you this win, the way that you're wording it, you're going to have to word it a different way because we won't be able to do this again. And that's what people need to understand.
So, he's going after Portland. Oregon is already sued. Before he can go fully into Portland, they go full steam ahead. They're waiting on the judge and that. In the meantime, he went to Memphis. Now he's trying a different tact in
You went to
Memphis. But his tact in Memphis is to clean up the crime. And they're going to the crime-ridden neighborhoods in Memphis. So we know what that means.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
he's not going to get much pushback in Tennessee because Tennessee is a
The
red
red
state.
state.
Awful. Also, Memphis is the city where Elon has his Grok machine company that's killing everybody or poisoning everybody or harming everybody because it's so bad for the fucking environment. But so we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, what happened in Chicago was egregious and it was American citizens. And what I need people to understand is part of the thing at that horrible meeting is he told them to basically get ready to have their troops marching in American streets.
You think they'll do it? Because I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't
When
know.
we were talking, he got rid of a lot of the 4-star generals that would be pushing back. So we have a lot of 3-star generals who are Trumpers in charge now. A lot of these places, the Coast Guard commandant, we don't have a Coast Guard commandant because Christy Nome is living in the Coast Guard commandant's house and doesn't want to give it up. Honestly, I really don't know. If you would have asked me 5, 10 years ago, even the first go around, I would have said no, because we actually had people, even though you may not have agreed with them, you didn't like them, they were those old school Republicans who still had a red line. These motherfuckers have no red line.
Do you
None.
so because the reason why I'm
Now,
like I'm not too sure is because of when they did the speech, right? When they called all the generals, and I understand that they have to be apolitical, but the fact that they were still apolitical, even though there were people in that room who fully support what he's doing and who be willing to push forth on his policies that he wants to put into place. And even through that, still being apolitical, where you're not clapping, you're not cheering, you're not, even when he tells you to do it, you're still not doing it. Now, granted, I can understand none of them getting up and walking out because the ones who would walk out is the ones that we need to stay. And so I can understand them, none of them getting up and walking out. But to think that even as you hear what he's saying, you're still staying apolitical. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm hoping that that is a sign because at this point, it's only the military. It's only the military. It's kind of like when they see like what he sent the military to do, right? The National Guard and the Marines, like they were picking up trash. Like that's honestly like they weren't really doing, they were just walking the streets. They were literally just walking the streets, right? And the ones who were still doing the crazy stuff that we see are still ICE agents. It wasn't our military. So I'm like, is there like some type of hope that we can have that even as there's people who support, and yes, the military is support of him. Is that group as large as it used to be?
Think so, and I'm hoping that they remember, like we said earlier, that their oath is to the Constitution, and legally, they are legally obliged to not follow illegal orders. So, you know, despite what heck Seth calls them, no matter how many times you try to nickname because you found out you couldn't change the Department of Defense to the Department of War, so that's its nickname. No matter what you cosplay, no matter what you try to say, how much you try to bully, there's only so much that they can legally change. So I'm hoping that they will see that, especially the provocations that they want, you're not getting. Chicago was a big ass provocation. You're not getting it.
Mhm.
Memphis provocation, you're not getting it. And I think that as you see the military in the streets, like you said, most of the dumb shit is being done by ICE, who I don't even know what the fuck that is. So 4 years ago, when you had people say abolish ICE and you're like, that's going too far, now you got people all on the abolish ICE train because it's like, what are your constraints? Newsom in California passed a law where it's illegal for police officers to have masks on their face.
Mhm.
Trump talking about that's unconstitutional. You don't have the right to say anything is
At
unconstitutional.
all.
That is not your job at all. You don't even know what your fucking
That's
job is.
actually the
But,
courts. The courts are supposed to identify that.
so I really don't know. I can just hope.
Okay.
you know, it's like who's gonna in on her book tour, Kamala has said it, Hillary has said it, she's been doing some speeches too. All of these people waiting in for Captain Democracy to come in and save us, it's not happening. You had the opportunity to save yourselves. It was called voting. That is our superpower. That is the power that we have. And when you abdicate that power, you get this bullshit. When you don't understand that history matters, that learning about your civics and your country and how it operates to some degree matters, you end up with shit like this. And then when your grocery prices are sky high, you don't understand why. It's because you ignored everything that's going on because you don't watch the news, because you don't want to see, because you think it doesn't affect you. And we are so tone deaf as a people that is like, if I don't feel this, just because you don't feel this, you don't care that this is annoying or that this hurts. You don't realize that, hey, I'm doing this and it might start coming to the screen and it hitting you. Then that's when you're going to care. But is it too late? You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
it's just like, and one of the other ways that they're attacking us is through the schools. We know that the education, as I said, they want us dumb, and you alluded to it earlier. They want us dumb. So now they're going after the colleges, the universities. And now he's come up with this compact he wants them to sign. Basically, you'll get your federal funding if you teach what we want you to teach. And part of it is limiting free speech, limiting political activism on campuses, limiting international students, just limiting the rights and freedoms on college campuses. And this is all being headed up by the head of Blackstone and Apollo, the Apollo Group, Mark Rowan. He was the one who was primarily responsible for the lady who was the president of UPenn resigning a few years ago, during that first Israel scandal. So again, no one else is ever told to forget our history. But if you tell someone who's Jewish to forget theirs, or the Holocaust didn't matter, or it didn't happen, you wrong. But you can say slavery was okay. Oh yeah, it's all right. It didn't really matter that much. It's still not affecting you. Forget it. So it's just the hypocrisy in that. I'm not here to, what did they say? I'm not here to have the oppression Olympics. Both were equally horrible, done by horrible people, whatever. But I'm just saying the way we treat historically one versus
It's
the
very
other
different. Yeah.
is very different. And so Newsom has said if the California schools follow that, you can sign a compact, get all the federal funding you want because the state funds are drying up. So, and I think we've talked about a little bit every show. How are these universities and stuff fighting back? He's still talking about he's going to get money from Harvard. Boo boo, Harvard won their lawsuit. They don't have to pay you shit.
At
But here's
all.
the thing. Will they, just to appease him, like Apple appeased him by removing this ice tracker app? And I'm like, again, on one hand, it's like, okay, you're bending down on the knee, sucking a mushroom. But on the other hand, it's like the bigger picture. When do you take a stand? What is it? What deal do you have in the works that you need them to approve? And is it worth you upsetting your customer base? Because if you lose all your customers, does this deal really matter? So do you like mushrooms that much? okay, I know that was a lot, but it's just like, man, it's a lot. That's how it works. Like it gives you fucking ADHD because you don't know. It's like it's all coming to you.
No, yeah. Look, and it's because they tried to say, well, let's get them young, right?
Mhm.
But people are still going to college at record numbers. And when you get to college and you're introduced to different cultures, different ethnicities, different ideas, what they realize, because they're very, very self aware, is that their ideas, policies, political ideologies that they have does not resonate with most people the more education that they have, right? The higher education level that you're at, the less likely you are to fall into the trap to be manipulated to believe their political and in some instances religious ideologies, right? Like even people that go to theology school, eyes are opened up to certain things. Now they ignore a lot of those things that they're, that they become aware of.
Unless you're Pope Leo.
Yeah, yeah. But they're still like very aware of it, right? And so they realizing that, hey, to call colleges not propaganda, indoctrination institutions, right?
Breeding
And
grounds
it's
for
like,
indoctrination.
yeah, but only because people think opposite of you. So isn't it still indoctrination if you're trying to force your viewpoints, right? You have people signing up for for classes. It's crazy to me on how you have people signing up for courses in college just because they heard that how a professor teaches whatever topic it is. So they can catch that professor so that they can get that professor fired. That is not what college is. You can find your people who have the same conservative, Republican viewpoints that you have. Like college campuses have Republican groups. College campuses have groups that would have your same ideology. So how can it be campuses of indoctrination when you are still able to find your people on those campuses that have your same viewpoints? They don't tell you what friends to choose. They don't tell you who to hang with. They don't tell you who to party with, right? They don't even tell you the classes to take. Like it's depending on your major. So all of that is open to you. All of that is open to you. It's to the point where a lot of times you won't even know where your professor stands on certain issues because professors try to be as unbiased as possible when they're teaching, because that is how they're supposed to teach. Okay? They're not pushing what they think. They're basing it on data, on actual primary and secondary sources. Like I'd be like, gosh darn it. And then they say, don't go to college. College is a scam. It is only a scam to you because they never tell their kids to not go to college. They
Not at all.
never tell their kids. Did you notice that all these Ivy Leagues that are being attacked, one is the one Ivy League level school that is not being attacked? New York University. You went after Columbia, you've gone after Harvard, Brown, all of those schools, but you ain't going after New York University. Why? Why did they get a free reign? New York University is one of the most liberal universities in New York. Like, because your son goes there? Because your son goes there, so you're leaving them alone? You're not attacking them? It's not a campus of indoctrination?
Think here's my personal. This is what I think. Like Tammy says, I need to put opinion. This is my opinion. I think NYU was the only one of the hot Ivies that
Tick 'em.
Baby Lurch got accepted into.
Yeah.
So of course now it's something personal that the former son of a president, and of course all the Obamas went to Harvard or had some affiliation with Harvard. And so, of course, his fragile ego is as big as his mushroom, but all of it is just so much. And the last thing before we turn to the second half of the program and get into the entertainment part. So we were all wondering what the $400 million plane was for. And I think we found out there's a news report out that he has promised Qatar the same protections as if they were a NATO country, meaning if you attack Qatar, you attack the United States. So that's what the $400 million plane bought them. It's costing us a lot more because they're still trying to retrofit that bitch, and it's going to cost over $1 billion with the B dollars to do that. But, so I wonder if And it's amazing that he says this after his homeboy sent in drones in
That's what
Qatar
I
to
was
get
thinking.
the Hamas people. So I wonder if he's told Benny, yo, you got to stop that because, or if Qatar reminded him, look, bitch, we gave you a $400 million plane. Why are you letting this stupid motherfucker over here attack us? So I'm just wondering how that conversation came. Was it the plane or the drone that came, like what? So.
Look, look, at the end of the day, any of those countries that is in support of what's going on, you gonna feel the wrath as well at some point. I'm gonna say that I still have hope that we'll get over this. Now, will we fully suffer the consequences of the choices that we made as a country? Yes, we will. Yes, we will. We're currently doing that, right? Are we all going to feel it at some point in some way, shape, or form if we're not already feeling it? Yes, we will. Yes, we will. I fully understand that. Is any country going to step in to save us? No, no, they're not. Absolutely not. They're not. But do I think that people, although they're doing it extremely slow, are coming to realize the lies that these people are constantly telling? I do. I think that it's very slow, but I do think that people are slowly becoming aware of this fuck shit. I think that they are becoming very aware because it's hitting them and everybody is feeling the burn. Like everybody's feeling the burn. Everybody is feeling the burn. And so I think that that is the reason why we have a whole nother year of pain because they know when midterm election comes around, it's a wrap. And so they are going to do everything that they can to stop that election, to stop election day from happening next year. I do believe that. I believe that every single decision that they are making is to stop, is to make people suffering so much that they do not take the time to go vote. I do think so. Do I think that they're still going to hold the election? I do. What I think is they're doing all of this to make people so tired and so run down that people are they're suffering so much that they don't have the time or the energy to go out and vote. And there's a low turnout for voting. And which would ultimately lead to them winning again. And so just prepare yourself. That would be my warning is we have a whole nother year of this, a whole nother year. And also, I'm gonna be honest. I think that even if the election happens and even if Democrats come into power, I do think that we will continue to feel pain because the old guard of the Democratic Party is trying to hold on as much as the Republican Party is holding on to power. They are refusing to leave. They are refusing to retire. They are like, we're going to die in office. We can't let the younger generation take over this country because it's going to hurt us and our friends because we have friends across the aisle. We all stand for the same thing at the end of the day because we've been doing this for long enough. I need those young Republicans, the Gen Z and the millennial, not Republicans, Democrats. I need the Gen Z and the millennial Democrats to fight against the Democrat leadership.
And
I need them to fight against I need them to give them out. I need them to push them out. I need them to vote them out. I need them to primary them. I'm sorry, but they need to be primary. They need to go. And we need new leadership because they're not willing to get down in the dirt. I do not give a pat on the back to Schumer or to Jeffries. I don't give no pat on the back for the fact that y'all finally stood 10 toes down. You don't get celebration from me for finally doing what you should have done earlier.
and
Like, where are you at? Why are you not in the news? Why are you not calling this man out? Every single thing that he does, Jeffries, they should have the media on speed dial. And forget the media. You should be on social media. Every single time that another decision is made by this administration, y'all should be on your social media, posting those videos on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, talking
especially
about he doing it again. Why are you depending on Newsom to do your fucking job for you?
especially after the racist memes, videos that he did after their meetings and he continues to do. And I please don't think I was trying to give them a pat on the back or support. I'm surprised because they're doing their fucking jobs and that's what it is. Because I want them to go at this point. there's nothing really that they can say that's going to convince me otherwise that they are cut out, that they are the people to lead our party. Nothing at all. Again, you think, oh, that's not the way we play politics, but Newsom is showing you the people understand. His social media team is on point. But where did he get that idea from? Kamala's social media team. Because when Kamala was doing it, y'all were like, oh, is this how? But no. But it showed you the people work. Again, this is 2025. Meet the people where they are in order to get them where you need them to be.
And we on the petty level. Like we
Petty.
fully petty level. Because I tell you, when I tell you certain politics of Newsom, I cannot stand him. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think that he is what our future should be when it comes to the Democrat Party. But that man is doing what y'all should have been doing this whole entire time. Okay. Every single time that the man in the White House does something, Newsom and his team is out there. Okay. And Newsom is cleaning up his image now. Okay. Because y'all got to realize he did an interview with Charlie Kirk. He talked about how his son looked up to Charlie Kirk. Okay. And he was dragged for that. Dragged for that. Okay. This is his redemption. Okay. Where's y'all's petty? I need my petty. Where my petty at? Where is my petty at? Okay. Because I'm telling you right now, if Newsom said right now, I'm gonna be voting for president in November, I'm gonna be like, dude, I'm not really a fan of yours like that, but you got my vote fully. Okay. Because I need you to keep up the petty. Okay. Keep the petty all the way above 100. Like, don't lower that for nothing. And for I don't care what's going on in our country. I don't care what happened. I don't care who gets hurt. I don't care. I don't care who gets assassinated. I don't care if a hurricane happens, where's my petty? If a tornado happens, where's my petty? Okay? If another mass shooting happens, where's my fucking petty? Okay? Where's
Oh,
my petty? Okay? I want y'all to have a full poster talking about a face of every single person that's ever committed a mass shooting, just a poster with every face of every person that ever did a mass shooting. And then I want you to point to that poster and I want you to be like, is there anything in common with everybody on this poster? And then I want you to sit back and walk away. That's all I want you to do. Petty, high degree. Like, I'm sorry.
think
I need the petty. I need the petty, y'all.
But I think Dollar Store Fits will probably be the person to do what we need him to do. He has enough that Dollar Store Fits. He has
All right, pause. Never thought of it. But yes. Because every time I look at him, I always think scandal. I'm like, he is the Fitz of our time.
yeah, Dollar General Fits. I think he would probably be able to go in and actually do what we need to be done,
Mm-hmm.
and he wouldn't have a problem taking the hits for it. So I agree and I disagree. Um, you know, I have mixed feelings about him. Let me put it that way. So speaking of petty, moving on, it's a lot of petty going on in the entertainment world.
Entertainment.
So Kimmel is back and he came back with a vengeance. I don't know if you did not see, he was in New York last week and he and Colbert were on each other's shows at the same time, the same night. And yeah.
I did not see that.
And they interviewed each other. They were the primary guests, and then they just had singers, and they talked about it all. So if you did not see that, go to YouTube and watch the shows.
Opposing stations? Okay.
Yes, dead
Okay.
ass honest about how they felt. They're actually really good friends off the air.
Yeah.
And Kimmel said he didn't think he was coming back. He thought it was over. He thought it was a wrap. That's just how serious it was. So, America, you saved Jimmy Kimmel. Just want you to know that by the response. And that's what we have to do. That shows that we're not,
4
that we
billion.
have,
Yeah.
that shows our power. Okay.
Yeah.
But also something else, he didn't apologize. He explained, which is what he said he was going to do, was explain why people, because what he said wasn't bad. He didn't say anything against, he told the truth. Y'all
Yeah.
was just pissed off because it was one of y'all's boys who
Mm-hmm.
just happened to be a little bit more extreme than your normal extremity. Okay. But when he came back, Next Star and Sinclair were like, he needs to apologize, blah, blah, blah. He didn't do none of that shit. So Next Star and Sinclair said, hey, we not showing him on our networks. And then I guess ABC and Iger finally realized that they hold the fucking cards and grabbed they big Mickey Mouse balls and said, look, bitches, you are an ABC network. You don't put Kimmel back on the air. There goes your Monday Night Football. There goes your NBA. There goes all of your national broadcasting. And don't forget, we also own fucking ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
So, what happens after that alleged conversation? Nexstar and Sinclair slowly add him back to their lineups without
Mhm.
the apology, without the knuckle dragging and all the begging and pleading that they said he was going to have to do. So, it shows me that if y'all stop being pussy ass bitches, and I hate using that P word, you know, ass and bitch are they in my lexicon, but that other word, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna repeat. Stop being pussy ass bitches and stand up to these fucking bullies. It works, even at the corporate level. Welcome back, Jimmy. I'm so glad you're here. And Colbert, when you get free, I hope you get a Bill Maher type deal because he's trash. And I hope you drag CBS and Paramount every fucking night because the Ellisons
Let's get a
deserve it
John
because you're
Oliver.
nothing, huh?
Let's do
Like
more of
John
a
Oliver.
John, yeah, John Oliver. I hope
Well,
he gets a John
I
Oliver deal.
Well, no, I want the Mar deal because Mar gets paid big bucks. He gets paid big bucks, but yes, I want him to be a John Oliver because Mar
Yeah.
is trash. I remember when Mar had politically incorrect and he wasn't trash, but over the years he's become trash.
He's gotten worse.
So, but yeah, so if y'all did not see those shows, go to YouTube and watch them. It's just a lot of it's a lot of good stuff. And I'm happy, the First Amendment won because it's like you have nowhere to go with this. Like really have nowhere to go. But yeah, so that was the petty. And do you watch either or just
I used to when I watched TV because I actually like both of them. I thought that they were funny. Colbert more than Kimmel in a lot of ways because Kimmel has always been. He talks trash, but I always felt like he was a little bit more middle of the road in the jokes that he made when it came to opposition. Like he would be. Well, yeah, so he would be funny in what he says, but it was always like a ha ha. While I thought like when Colbert would make his jokes about the opposition, it was more like a stick it to him. But it's funny, ha ha ha, laugh, 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 but I'm sticking you kind of thing, right? And so that was the difference. So I would watch Colbert more than I would watch Kimmel, but at one point I did watch both of them a lot. Yeah.
so I'm just glad that he's back and hopefully Fallon has always been the one that has been more middle of the road, just say, and
Not
just
even
kinda
middle, like
get
he
along.
just
I don't even know if I would call him middle of the road. I
he's
just
very
say
blah. Like he's so like he don't have no opinions. Like
none.
none. Like he don't stand nowhere. Like he yeah.
Yeah. So, um, but also just quietly, not to get back into politics, but just it does fall under entertainment. Jared, the Trumps, and his Saudi business partners bought out EA, the video game maker. So I'm just telling you to be aware of that. I know the price of video games are already skyrocketing because of tariffs, but just be aware of some of those changes. I would also say be wary of the information that you put and leave in those games. Just I'm even more wary because Doge still hasn't said what they did with all our information that they stole.
Mhm.
And just looking at who the ownership of a lot of this shit, just be wary. And we might want to start reading more into those 50 million that agreement thing that none of us ever read. Yeah, that was disheartening. $55 billion is a lot to turn down, but I always say all money ain't good money. So
That's only for people that don't base their life off of how much they have.
yeah, and I get it, greed, but Anyway, Diddy, and I wanted to say it was quiet because you didn't see a whole lot of headlines, but apparently rather than covering the shutdown, CNN all day yesterday decided to cover the Diddy sentencing. I don't watch CNN. I don't. Anytime you hear me reporting from CNN, it's because I saw it on a clip or something, but I haven't watched CNN in years. But apparently that's all they showed yesterday. So surprisingly, he got more than I thought he was going to get. I think when we talked about it originally, I said I would be surprised if he didn't just get time served or maybe 1 or 2 years added onto that. The judge didn't go max, but he also didn't go min. He went in the middle. He did mid. He got 4 years in jail, 5 years supervised release when he gets out, and he has to pay a $500,000 fine, which is the max fine allowed under his charges. So he's going to be in jail for a minute, and of course, his team is going to appeal
But he
anyway.
will be hanging out in prison during his appeal.
Yeah, Yeah.
So
Oh, no, the judge isn't letting him out, and the judge
so at
said
least we
something.
get that. At least,
Yeah.
you know, he has to wait out his appeal in prison.
And the judge said something interesting. He said, because of your behavior and because of everything we've learned, everything that he's heard during all these many, not trials, but hearings that we weren't necessarily privy to, he was like, I don't believe that there's anything to stop you from doing this again. You know, especially the witness intimidation. He's like, the shit that you basically did to women you claim to have loved and cared about, like you could just hear the judge's disgust. Like, and one thing that he said, Diddy, the man I was, died in prison. I've been reborn. Fool, you was reborn when you came out with the Love album. Like you're reborn every couple, And so I was just like, okay, but I mean,
Reborn. Reborn. Bitch, this if you don't get out my face, but reborn. That's like him trying to use the whole I've been saved. You
yeah.
know, I need prayer. Bitch, go get your prayer in prison.
Look,
Okay?
when he gets out, the first thing he gonna do is probably try to drop a gospel album.
Oh yeah. Because ain't that what they always do? Because the
So
church is always willing to accept them in because you know people change. No, they don't. Not people like that. That's evilness on the next level. Stop it. Stop it. We
yeah,
gonna have to let
so
those people go. Stop it.
Yeah, so he was sentenced. The box office is bouncing him back. A movie I really want to see is One Battle After Another, and I want to go see it in the theaters, but it's kind of long. And it's Leonardo DiCaprio, Tiana Taylor. They say it's really good, but it's like almost 3 hours.
Damn, Leo be doing those long ass movies, yo.
Yeah, but that's my boy. Yes, I'm still a Leonardo DiCaprio fan. I don't want to hear it. I know he's weird, whatever. But I still love me some Leo, and I heard it was a really good movie,
Hey,
and it looks really
at least he's never gone PDF. So
yeah.
he's close, but he ain't never went full PDF. So okay.
And, so speaking about the box office, and one of the reasons why I think it's doing so well is because it wasn't released and then you have the opportunity to rent it. I think it should be like it was before. Like when we were growing up, you have the theatrical release and you have to wait at least 3 to 6 months before you try to put it on streaming. I think that would be I think that would be an easy middle road. You don't have to, because when we were kids with the VHSs, yes, I'm dating myself, or the disc, you had to wait almost a year, like when DVDs first came out. 3 to 6 months, depending on how well the movie does. I think that would be a good middle ground
And
because
the better the movie does, I'll
the
be
longer you
honest and
have to
say
wait.
the longer you should have to wait.
Yeah, because it shows that things like Sinners and even the Mission Impossibles, when you don't have instant access to go and just try to rent them on streaming services, they do better in the box office because people, especially if it's a good movie and it gets that word of mouth, people are going to go watch it. But if like within 2 weeks you can rent it at home and your whole family can see it for $10 or $20,
You're not gonna go.
that's cheaper than what it would cost you to go to the movies with the
Hmm.
whole family. So I think that would be a good middle ground because I'm still trying to find ways to say listen to me. But and then did you hear about Tilly Norwood, the latest actress? She's an AI actress and people are fucking mad, and I don't blame them. And apparently she stole some rocker's face, like whoever created her stole some rocker's face. But they say that talent agencies are lining up to sign a literal AI actress, and SAG-AFTRA have come out and said, "She is not an actress. This is not an actress. This is not even a real person. Like, what the fuck are
Wait.
y'all doing?"
What's the name?
Tilly Norwood. Like, it is crazy. So, and I was just like, yeah. Like, what the fuck?
Anything with Tilly Norwood needs to be boycotted immediately.
Yeah, I don't even think they've gotten whatever has gotten a deal, but it's like, and that was part of the whole thing when they were on strike was, okay, these AI limitations, like you can't do whole films with AI. So even against going out for their statement, I would go as far as to say, we will not participate in any film that has an AI actress or actor. Like you will get none of my people. Like that is fucking crazy. So yeah. Anyway, Taylor Swift dropped her new album, Life of a Showgirl. That look on your face. Are your eyes even open? You're not a Swift fan. I'm not a Swiftie, but I'm a Swift fan. I listened to the album. I actually liked it. I liked it better than the Tortured poets department. So I liked it. I haven't been into all the buzz, but it broke Spotify records. You know she was gonna break records. It's probably gonna be #1 on the Billboard charts or whatever. But she apparently released a movie, like the release party for the movie, which is like a behind the scenes documentary, which did well in the special release department of the movies, like docs or whatever. So the girl, she can market. She's a marketing genius. I've said it before. She's a great, how do I say this, all around artist. To me, and I've said it, she's not the best singer, but she is an artist. You have to give her her creative talents and her creative props. She's a hell of a songwriter, you know. So I'm sure when she goes on tour for this album, it'll sell out just like the Eras tour and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, and she got her master's back a while ago. I think we hinted on that or we talked about that. So I just have to give it to her. The business of Taylor Swift keeps businessing. Hey.
We know we on opposite ends of this. And what I will say is, I remember when we were first doing the podcast, you got me to listen to Midnights. No.
Oh,
I remember
Midnights?
I tried to listen to Folklore and I
And
hated
you couldn't. Yeah.
it. I didn't like it. But you got me to listen to Midnights. I loved it. Like that album was on repeat. Okay. Loved it. Multiple songs saved on my playlist. And so I will acknowledge the fact that when she tries, I think that she does do a good job. I think what she's doing now is I think Taylor Swift is trying anymore. I don't think that she's showing um any type of real talent anymore in what she comes out with. I think Taylor Swift's idea is to continue to be Taylor Swift because she knows at this point in her career she can put out an album where she says shit for 55 minutes and it will still be #1. She will still sell out. She will still be at the top of the billboards because her fan base at this point will purchase anything that she puts out and they will get insulted when you criticize. I have not listened to the new album. I haven't. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to. But I've listened to the previous albums that she's put out. And I think that she's all about just staying at the top and taking advantage of the fact that she has rabid fans. I think the way that she writes her lyrics, I don't think she's talented in even writing her lyrics like she used to be. I don't think so. I think that she's still writing lyrics not for a 35-year-old. She's still writing lyrics like she's in her early 20s. That's a problem. There's no evolution at this point. Like she was evolving. She was growing with as she gotten older and then she's reverted back. I don't know why, but I feel like she's gone back to her tried and true of sticking to her early 20s. And I think she feels she's competing with the younger artists. You're Taylor Swift. They're not your competition. Like the Sabrina Carpenters they're not your competition. They're popular now. Let them be. I feel like she can't. I just feel like Taylor Swift at this point cannot allow any other white blonde artist or any white artist to be to have their moment. Like as soon as I feel like they're having a moment, she comes out with something, some news story or some detail about herself or another album or, like just something to take the attention away from them and bring it back onto herself. And, my opinion, but I just feel like you're at the level in your career where you can sit your ass down and people will always revere you. They will all like people would talk about your talent. They would talk about what a great songwriter you is. And I think Taylor Swift is like a Nicki Minaj. The more you are in my face, the less I want to see you. And I feel like I need her to sit down and enjoy all that she's achieved. And instead, I feel like she's like, no, you always got to talk about me. I always got to be in your face. And when you don't talk about me, you start talking about other artists on the level that I feel you should only be talking about me. I got to show you who's #1. And so I'm going to come out with this. And, because let's be honest, also when it comes to her politics, to be as big as you are and you stand for nothing. And then it seems that you're standing for, is not what your fan base wants. So you don't talk about it. But Taylor Swift is going into circles that the type of artist that she's always claimed to be, she shouldn't be in. The people that she's hanging with, she shouldn't be hanging with those people. The type of friends that is she's you see her clicking pitch photos with should not be the type of friends that she has. The interviews that she's giving with who she's giving should not be the type of people that she should be giving interviews with based on what she claims herself to be. And it makes me think of she's the opposite of the type of artist that, we've always believed her to be because of the words that she's told us on where she stands. How are you going to be a feminist artist and you don't fight for nothing that has to do with women? You don't stand for anything when it comes to women's rights, but you claim to be a feminist. Is it just a word to you? You just come out and be like, I'm a feminist. And then every time that I talk about it, people be like, but she's a feminist though. Where? What has she ever done to stand up for the fact that women are losing their rights every single day in this country? She don't
So
use her
you
platform for shit.
there are times where she's spoken out, and I'm not defending it or trying to change your mind. I get what you're saying because there are some people that we always say could speak out or do a little bit more. But every time she has said something, even when she did say things in the election, as little as she said, 47 put a target on her back, and that is true. So, in some instances, I understand why she would want to be
It's
quiet.
good. Stop.
And like I said, I'm not defending it.
No,
I'm not
because I feel that
justifying.
that target is false. I feel like that target is false. I feel that people can be like, oh, because he was talking about her and he's sending people after her. No, no. You are Taylor Swift as a white woman is on the level where saying that doesn't mean anything. To say that he put a target on your back, the amount of he put targets on black people's back. He put a target on
And I
Hispanic
get that,
back.
but I can't
Like
say it
he
doesn't mean
shuts
anything.
down every time. She shuts
I
down
can't say it
every
doesn't
single
mean
time.
anything because his people have proven that they are crazy and they will go to lengths. So I get it. I can't say that him speaking out against her or putting that target on their back is false or it doesn't mean anything because though his people are crazy.
So
They
are hers.
they killed one of his own. So I
So are hers. If we're being honest, people need to understand also half of Taylor Swift's fan base is the other side. So yeah, you can say like his fans are crazy, like his people are crazy. So are hers. They're her people. They're her fans. Like I'm not saying that she's not like she wouldn't be putting her life in danger, but then stop fucking speaking. Stop. Just collect your billions because you don't stand for nothing. She doesn't stand for anything. And I need like the words that she says means nothing. Your words mean nothing because when you really look at the history of Taylor Swift and what she has done, Taylor Swift has stomped and walked all over the little man her whole entire fucking career. She has. She has destroyed little people, as they call them, the common folk, for her to stay on top. Your life is in danger because you're going to speak out on women's rights and women's reproductive rights. If we're going to be very specific, your life is going to be in danger, but you have enough that you're willing to stomp out people who talk about the fact that you will fly a plane, your private jet, 30 minutes just because. Ma'am, your life is not as in danger as you claim to be. It's not. It's not. You're one of the most protected artists in the world, not in this country, in the world. And she knows that. You can speak out and still you'd be just fine. You would be just fine. She's a white woman. I need people to understand she's a white woman. It's a different life that we live when you're a white woman at the top of it. Blonde-headed white woman. Blonde-headed billionaire white woman. Stop it. And it's not to take away from her talent. And I will say that. People who say like I will say she can't sing. You're right. She can't dance. She can't. She can't dance and she can't sing. I get that. And she is a great songwriter, but she hasn't evolved as a songwriter.
okay.
She like, and I've always said that. Whenever I talk about what I don't like about Taylor Swift, the one thing I always tell people is great songwriter, but there's no evolution to her.
Okay. So you'd say there's no evolution to her artistry. Going back to her artistry
Yeah,
off of
yeah. There's no
okay.
evolution to it, right? And then when there is a type of, I feel like now with the showgirl one, right? When I look at like how she's presenting herself, right? I feel that in a way she's cosplaying. she's cosplaying because that has never been her, right? And then when you compare, like I've read the lyrics, I haven't listened to the songs, but I have read the lyrics. And I think that when it comes to the image that she's presenting with this album and the lyrics that she's wrote, it's not Taylor Swift. And also people be like, well, that's the evolution, not the evolution of Taylor Swift. I think it's her competing with individuals that are not on her level. Like there are artists who are not on Taylor Swift's level. Like, girl, you at the top. Like, look down at the minions and be like, I don't know what you think you're doing. You have your little time, have your little spotlight. But at the end of the day, I'm top dog. I'm at the top of this. Nobody touches me in this country, in this world. Nobody. Yeah, you can have other artists be number one for a while, but I always come back on top. Like that's the attitude she should have. Instead, she competing with these little youngins. If you don't sit your little 35-year-old self down
So
and
you
enjoy, like, evolution. Like you got the man that you wanted, football player, which you've always talked about the whole entire time. Girl next door got the football player. Fantastic, amazing. You got the football player. Y'all announced that you engaged. You supposed to be getting married. What you talking about in these songs? Stop it. I mean, ain't nobody jealous of you. Like, nobody jealous of the fact that because they look at you and they be like, you took all his spice away. Let me stop. I'm sorry. Evolution. I just need some evolution. I need her.
that Taylor Swift rant, tell us how you really feel.
Yeah. Yeah. I just need.
Okay, so you brought it up, Nicki Minaj, and when you were talking about it initially, I said, okay, from the way you talking about it, you making it seem like she Nicki Minaj, and the fact that Nicki doesn't want anybody to be on top. And so her and Cardi B, after Cardi dropped I Am the Drama, yes, bitch, you are, because it is great. Did you ever listen?
Did. I
Yeah.
did. I liked it. I liked it.
And
Definitely
so,
a 10.
Cardi went on, broke all these records for rappers and female rappers, right? A lot of them, especially for the female rapper category, where it belonged to who? Nika.
Hmm.
And so, of course, I guess Nikki's husband gave her the extra spicy booger sugar that day. And, after a
You right.
couple
You right. Uh-huh.
after snorts, she does what she normally does. She goes on and she starts feeling herself and she gets out there and she starts trying to drag Cardi. And Cardi ain't gonna take that, pregnant or not, lying down. So it was, I guess, about 72 hours and they had a straight Twitter beef going back and forth. And one of my favorites is when she told Nicki, you need to stop. Don't blame me because your son's favorite color is 5. Girl, I died. Dead ass. Your son's favorite color is 5. I saved that one. I did. And then, but Cardi did not start bringing up the kids. She only did it after Nicki brought up her kids. Not saying right is right, but they say save the
Just hit it
children.
harder. She hit her harder.
But your son's favorite color is 5. That took me out. Okay. So she also basically told her what everyone who is not a delusional barb has been saying forever. Your man is trash. You the one that married this pedophile who made a come up. He didn't have to worry about getting a post-jail job because he got you. He keep you drugged up all day, which is obvious, and he spends all your money. And you were saying, and my whole thing is when you were going on that rant, diatribe about Taylor,
Red. Mm-hmm.
Taylor can release and still be number one. If Nicki released today, who would buy it besides Delusional Barbs?
You right.
And not comparing them the two, because like you said, we just gonna agree to disagree. I'm not a Swiftie, but I also don't have as powerful feelings against her as you do. But so I was just like, okay. But the whole Nicki and Cardi situation, I'm team Cardi 100%. Nicki, girl, you are too fucking old. And you've talked about all of your peers. You talked about Little Kim, who if there was no Little Kim, there would never be no Nicki Minaj. You talked about the queen motherfucking Latifah. Like, everybody who does, it's like misery loves company and you want people to be coked out miserable like you are. Like
And they not. They not.
they not. Like you you talked about Missy fucking Elliott. And one of Cardi's, she said, your peers are Taylor. So if anybody today, you should be pissed off that Taylor outsold you. Like the people who came out when you came out, Rihanna, Beyonce, who she's also talked about. But she also said you shining on all these white people, but you would drag your black peers and counterparts. It was a masterpiece in just clearing a bitch, like cleared her. Okay. But yeah, so I'm like, you married, and then you want to talk about that she was pregnant when she's still technically married by another dude, and I'm like,
You
but at
married
least
a PDF.
yeah, but at least her baby daddies can participate in their sons' lives. They not legally barred from going to any of their fucking events because they can't be around children. Like, if you want to have another child, you would probably have to get special permission from the court. Like, what the fuck? Like, bitch, just sit. Like, I don't even know. I'm just like, Nikki, like, get some help. Like, for real.
I don't think she's going to. I think that because Nicki Minaj was one of the only ones during her time, that she didn't have the level of rivalry that other female rappers had when they came out. Or frenemy camaraderie, like the frenemy like circle that other female artists had when they came out, right? Like you name other female rappers and you can name like other female rappers that were out around the same time, who were competing for the same type of audience, releasing albums, you know. And with Nicki Minaj, like Nicki Minaj was at the height and her competition was, or what she considered to be her competition were men. And they would never let her, first of all, forget that, but also they would never let her top them. And so it is because I'm like, people told her, you know, you top of your game. You're the queen. Where? Who gave you the title of queen of rap? Ma'am, where's the people that came before you? Stop. You mentioned Little Kim. Like, are you serious? Little girl. Little Kim opened the door for you with her like, Little Kim was selling sex in her raps before you were a thought. Like, girl, stop it. Stop. Little Kim was doing the little pasties on her boob. Stop it.
Look, Little Kim crawled so you could walk. All right.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, everyone doesn't have to like everyone. I get it. There are just some people who you oil and water, you not
But
gonna
you don't
mix.
need to
I
have
get that.
rivalry with everybody either.
And to hate everyone, and every time someone comes out and they do something, just either shut the fuck up or congratulate them. If they're a peer, a real friend, yo, babe, I'm glad to see you shining. If it's someone you can't stand, just shut up. Like, let it go. Like, such a miserable person. And one of the ones where she was trying to be serious, she did tell her to get help. Like, she read her for filth, but she told her to get help and told her why she needed help. And real talk, if something doesn't change in her personal life, this story is going to have a tragic ending. And I would hate to see that. You know what I'm saying? And so, but yeah, if you have some time this weekend, I suggest you go look at those archives because that shit was hella funny. And I just can't get over your son's favorite color is 5. Like that. And you know, but also it's like rinse, wash, repeat. Someone's gonna come out, do well.
And she's
Nikki,
gonna always come out and play that role that she's given herself to be
but
a
you
hater.
and again, her and Taylor Swift were, you know, even though Taylor's still top the game, whatever. To Cardi's point, you're not gonna say shit about Taylor and her numbers that she's doing. And Taylor
Mhm.
ain't paying you no shot. It doesn't make any sense. Like you said, the people you should be competing with are not the people you trying to drag. Like, you know, it doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah. Okay, so sticking with music before we get to turn a little bit to sports. Bad Bunny was announced as the Super Bowl headliner. I'm so excited. For all of you ignorant motherfuckers who say pick someone, Puerto Rico is a part of America, has been since the 1890s in the Spanish American War. It is not a state, but it is a territory. They're not allowed to vote in presidential elections, but if a Puerto Rican moves to the 48, they can then vote in the elections. They are U.S. citizens. They don't need a passport to come to the United States. It is their country. Puerto Rico is a little island in the Caribbean, okay? The Caribbean is right off of the Atlantic Ocean, right by Florida. We got some other territories too, like the U.S. Virgin Islands and Guam. We returned to Philippines, okay? Any questions for today's geography? Now that we've covered that part, Benito, You better not even speak a word in English.
A lick of it.
I want you to say, "Me te llamo Benito, aka Bad Bunny. Bienvenidos to the Super Bowl, pinches." That's it. And
Like,
every other word, even the cuss words, better be in Spanish. Do
full
not
Spanish.
say a word in English.
Not
Don't
a
even
word.
say hola.
Not a word.
Te llamo
Not
Benito.
even hello. You right. Not even hello. Not even goodbye. Okay. Every
Say
single word in English. Every word. Every
and
single word. Every artist that you have on that stage with you,
better be Spanish.
Spanish. Better be in Spanish. Bunny. But don't play with us, okay? Don't play with us. We about to ride or die for you on this, okay? Do not play. Don't play with me, okay? Every single song, every single part of your lyrics, it to be in your Spanish. I want to hear
Spanish.
it. I want to hear. I want it to be where people are talking about what he just said. Wait, what that mean? Full on. I want us to be having like full dissertations on the Spanish language when you done performing for your 15 minutes.
Someone said, "You like Bad Bunny?" I said, "Yeah." How can you understand him? You like Young Boy? How can you understand him? Yeah, I said it.
Look, I tell people, look, I am a fan of
Good
talent.
music.
Yeah, I'm a fan of talent, right? And so it's kind of like I always bring up K-pop and how when people would find out that I was a fan of K-pop, they'd be like, "How can you listen to K-pop? Like you don't even like you don't speak the language." And I'd be like, "No, but I can tell you talented K-pop artists. I can point out the groups that I think are really really talented without like it's not about the language. It's about the music, right? It's about your artistry, okay, that you have, where there are some really talented artists in Korean music, not even just K-pop, but just Korean music in general. Okay. There are
Mhm.
talented artists in Chinese music that I can point out, in Thai music. All right. There are talented artists that I found from Sweden and from Norway who are amazing
And of the
artists. You
North.
understand the thing? They're not a lick of English. And I still can tell you those people are phenomenal. All right. Like one of my favorite artists is blanking on his name now that I want to mention it. But the actor from Young Royals, all right, who was a
Omar.
singer, huh?
Omar Ruberg.
Yes. Who was a singer before he became an actor. All right. And went right back to singing and becoming a musical artist after Young Royals was done. Okay. Still performing oh my God, like amazing. Right. Like I love like how he's like he presents himself as ambiguous, right? Androgynous. Androgynous is when it's not necessarily androgynous, right? He's considering himself to be an androgynous artist. All right. But I'm like, y'all, it's about talent. Bad Bunny is an amazing, talented artist. Do I like everything that he puts out? No. But I can look at my playlist and be like, yo, you heard this song? And I be butchering, right? Hold on. I'm about to do it right now, Eddie. I got you. I was butchering it with my Hispanic friends. And I said, how you, they were like, how you say this? How you say this? And I was like, I don't know. Can you help me out real quick? Cause I'm trying to, it's tenemos, you're going to be listening to this the whole, I like to make sure, let people know that I was born under, I always have to tell people I was born under an American flag. I'm an American citizen. We also do not vote for president unless we move to the States. That is true. Continental US. Okay. We move to the States and then I am able to vote for president wherever I move in the United States. That's true. But people who are talking about this man like he is an immigrant,
And
like,
And what really pisses them off is that he has a sold out world tour. He did his residency, which I'm so mad I missed when Amazon streamed live the last night of his residency in Puerto Rico. But he did it because he refused to come to the US because he said fuck ICE and he was not going to have ICE camped outside of his shows, picking up, people coming to his shows.
is it true they said they're going to do that now?
Huh?
I'm hearing that they're trying to threaten to
Do that
have
after Super
ICE
Bowl?
outside of the Super Bowl. I told him, I say, no, ain't no undocumented immigrant going to the Super Bowl. Stop it. They're gonna be at home chilling
And
eating their
piss off
Super
the
Bowl parties.
NFL if you want to.
Shit.
So, but yeah, I was just like, whatever. But yes, Puerto Rico, for all you ignorant motherfuckers, is part of the United States. Bad Bunny is a U.S. citizen. He is not an immigrant. And
Tenemos que
this is the
hablar.
only fucking country where I know we take pride. And I say we as Americans, the collective. take pride in being so ignorant and uncultured and only knowing one language, English. And we can barely speak that because if you go to England, they will tell you fucked up the English language because we don't speak the Queen's English, you know. But being so uncultured and just so ignorant, and we revel in that fucking ignorance. And I'm just and in a clip that I love, I'll have to send it to you later. Is Tommy Lauren had someone on her show who was also a Nilla wafer, right? And she
CE Cup.
said, huh?
CE Cup.
Yeah. And she was
That's what
like,
it was.
well, what do you think about Bad Bunny before I talk about it? She goes, well, I don't know enough about him to say one way or the other, but you know, she said, I think it's going to be a good American. He's a good, talented American artist, but he's not American. But okay. And she goes, dear, he's from Puerto Rico, which is part of America. Silence. Mic drop. What?
Nothing. Couldn't say nothing to it.
I'm just like, dude, like seriously, what? First it was Kendrick Lamar, and I must say, Sean Carter, since you took over the Super Bowl halftime shows, you have not missed. They have all been excellent in their own right. Even the one with Shakira and Jennifer Lopez, they have been excellent in their own right. And Danica Patrick, in order to hire somebody, you would have to pay them. Super Bowl artists do not get paid. They foot the bill for that entire show. The NFL does not pay them for that. They pay for their own shit, everything. They stage their own shows. And they have to do so within a 11 to 13-minute time period. So before again, we see why you and Aaron Rodgers were together for so long. Anyway, speaking of, you got anything else to add?
Excited. I will just say, like, I'm very, very excited for his performance.
Me too.
Like I said, like, I do listen to Bad Bunny, and I try to, when he comes out with his albums, I do listen to it. I really, really love his latest album that he came out. Like, oh my God, like oh my God, it's amazing. Like, I'll just say, like, it's really, really good. If you haven't listened to it, like, really good. And I will say, like, better than his previous album. So
the last one, the one
before
before this one that he put out, I wasn't a huge fan
I
of.
wasn't a huge fan. I couldn't find too many songs that I really loved. But then the one before that put him at the
Amazing.
top. Like that
The one where he
album was
won the
like,
Grammy?
huh?
The one where he won all the Grammys?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that one was phenomenal. And then he came out with the one last year, I believe it was, and I was like, I'm not really feeling it. But this one, amazing, like phenomenal. I'm very, very excited for it. I'm also really excited to see who he puts on stage with him. The same way I was excited to see when, it was announced that Kendrick Lamar was going to be performing, who was going to be on the stage with him, as well as like, when Dr. Dre performed, who Dr. Dre was going to bring out, right? Like, so I'm really excited to see it because I know it's going to be artists that necessarily I'm not like well informed about, but I'm sure I'm going to definitely enjoy their music at the same time. So I need MAGA to sit their ass down because you don't have no fucking talent. Because y'all talking about why couldn't it be a country artist? Baby, country artists are not international artists. They're American artists. They're not international. Ain't nobody listening to country music outside of the United States. Okay? That's an American genre. Okay? It's not a universal genre. It's not an international genre. All right? That's the reason why you may have them traveling around giving concerts, yeah, but it's never going to be on the level of a Hispanic artist, a Spanish speaking artist, or any other genre, a pop artist. Okay. So y'all talking about how name a country artist that's huge right now. Like, is there any of them?
I have two. Well, wait, one kind of goes into this. So they were saying, someone said, oh, he named himself Bad Bunny. And someone was like, and you have a country artist named Jelly Roll. And he's
That
probably,
used to be a rapper.
yep.
Like
And
Post Malone.
yeah. And so, but yeah, just MAGA in general, stop it, because the Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk's network or whatever, right? Talking about having
I just
their
heard about that.
alternative Super Bowl show, and they want Creed.
I'm sorry.
Creed, who hasn't been a thing since the early 2000s, to perform at their alternate Super Bowl show.
Well, because of the singer.
Scott Stapp, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, so I was just like, anyway, but yeah. So Bad Bunny, also speaking of country artists, you heard Keith Urban, Nicole Kidman are getting divorced. Apparently word on the streets is that he was stepping out. So they've both been leaking, right? to TMZ people, all that kind of stuff. So, word on the streets is that he been stepping out, and also, Nicole Kidman, her longevity is amazing, and she's one of my favorite.
After Tom Cruise,
Yes.
yeah.
And, there was a while where she didn't act especially as much when her kids were younger, her ones with Keith Urban. So now that her kids are older and she's acting a lot more, and she's done a lot for women directors and producers. A lot of her stuff that she's started now has to have women at the top, and I applaud her. I put her on for that, right? So word on the street is that, this this resurgence in her career was part of the problem, that someone didn't feel as supported as before. I'm not saying, I'm just, And so now that they're supposedly in a relationship with a younger bandmate, that they just up and moved, while one party thought they still had a chance to work on their marriage, apparently someone else had already bought a new house and was just done and over it and not. So they were married for 20 years, and it's kind of sad to see, because I'm not saying I like Keith Urban. I really love his earlier stuff. Like, he's a hell of a
Yeah.
singer. I give him that. But as far they were just one of those couples that you never had to think about, because you just kind of knew they had that solidarity, if that makes sense.
Kind of.
I like them as a couple, I guess is what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say.
No, I did too. I looked at them along the lines of Faith Hill and Tim McGraw,
Yeah.
or even Julia Roberts and
Her
her
husband,
husband Boulder. I
Danny
forgot what it
Moder.
I'm sorry?
Her husband, Danny Moder.
Yeah, Danny Moder. On they quietly got together. If you really look at it, they quietly got together, and it was at the point where they were like quietly living their lives while still like raising like their stardom. And so like they were still out there, but I feel like there was no like, at least I didn't hear of any like real drama with Nicole Kidman and her husband. Like, it was just kind of like, yeah, they're both famous, but they just, and at least with Nicole Kidman. And I think Nicole Kidman kind of went a little bit more, I'm going to live my life, and my private life is my private life, but I'm still going to be the actress that I've always wanted to be, after her and Tom Cruise divorced. It was kind of like people thinking, and I was one of those when it was announced, I was young, that they were getting divorced. I was just like, oh my gosh, okay, they're getting divorced. She about to go into obscurity. She's about to like, just go about her business, and we not really gonna hear from her. And instead she took a break. She did. And then she came back stronger than ever. And I have always loved that. And the reason why is because the stardom of Tom Cruise has destroyed careers. And I thought she was gonna fall into that trap when they got divorced. Because of the other actresses that he dated, who struggled a lot after he broke up with them, like, or after they broke up with him, they struggled a lot to kind of get back on track. So I thought Nicole Kidman, but she kind of did a good thing on stepping away completely, and then when she came back, like, she came back, strong. And so I thought they were going to be the boring like Hollywood couple like the other ones I mentioned, and instead they're like, nah, cuz he's a bastard like the rest of them. I
So,
feel bad, but I'm Nicole Kidman all the way. Like, fuck you, Keith Urban. Like,
yeah, but I can't wait to hear that next album, okay? Because he's a hell of a songwriter too.
no, is. But as an artist, okay, cool. Yeah, yeah, I got you. But when it comes to whose side I'm
Oh,
on,
taking sides, Team
yeah,
Nick all the way.
Nicole Kidman all the way. Like, you will never you will never get my support when it comes between you and Nicole Kidman.
Yes. Speaking of country, so moving on to sports, we're going to start with the heavy and get into the less heavy. I don't know if you've heard the story about Kyron Lacey. He was a player at LSU, and this happened a couple years ago or last year. Right before the combine, you heard that he was in this accident, a hit and run. Someone died in Louisiana, apparently. Then in Houston, fast forward a couple of months later, when they were rounding up the grand jury for this, he'd been uninvited to the combine because of all this stuff with this accident in Louisiana. He'd been uninvited to the combine. Seems like his life has started falling apart a little bit. And he got into it with the police here in Houston, a car chase. Ended up, he took his own life. And that happened after he'd had an argument with a family member. Not sure if it was about all the quote unquote trouble he'd been getting in lately or whatever. But turns out over this weekend, the past couple of days, they've released the footage and they showed that he was straight up framed by the police in the situation, nowhere near the accident, behind the cars, didn't cause it, wasn't doing what they said he was going to do. And even though he's not my son, because I remember looking at the accident and I remember how it was framed because the accident itself, where the final one where he got into the chase with the police, that happened here in the Houston area. It's County Police. I remember seeing it in and again, the media is a son of a bitch because the way it was framed made you think, oh, he had gotten in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Just the way it was sad, but the way it framed
They
made it seem
spend it
like,
a certain way to make you
yeah,
think a certain thing about him. Yeah.
yeah, like it was all his fault, like he couldn't cope, blah, blah, blah. And now the truth comes out and you like, y'all basically murdered a young man. You destroyed his fucking life. You see the footage of where they're trying to get the witness to lie. And he's like that, but that's not how it happened. It was that white lady behind me. It was her fault. She caused the accident. You see they got the footage from the convenience store that shows that his car wasn't anywhere near the accident.
I saw that.
If I were his family, I would sue them for every fucking
Every
thing
single
I could
thing.
get.
Everything.
It's
A
not,
life
and
is gone. How much
it's
was
not
that worth?
it's not going to bring him back, no. But if this is the sense of justice that I can get for what you took from me, from what you destroyed, then yes, at this point, give me my fucking pound of flesh. You talked petty earlier, petty, vindictive, Father, forgive me, vengeance. I would go for it all. If this is the only way I can get you to fucking understand, no
Mhm.
sorry, they lost their job. I'm going for the police department. I'm going for, and I don't know because in different states it's different in the way this administration has come in and tried to take liability away from the police. If I can't get you fucking criminally because you lying on warrants and
Civilly.
I'm going for you civilly, and I'm going for the police department. I'm going for the officers. I'm going for everybody who was involved in this fucking cover up.
Oh, for the whole fucking state. Sorry. I'm like, whole
And
state.
perish everybody who was fucking involved. Like, y'all were about to seat a fucking grand jury before this young man died so tragically. And the way you systematically ruined his life.
Over jealousy.
So it's just yeah, it's crazy. And again, profiling come for us every single fucking time. But moving on, I'm gonna go with the worst of us, the Cup fans. Kind of goes with that same statement we talked about when we talked about Philly Karen in our last show where we talked about people represent the worst of us. And just on the premise of the Ryder Cup, and I'm not really a big golf fan, but knowing that it was going on and keeping up with the scores, I'm like, yay, Team USA. And I saw we were behind and I saw we made a comeback. And then I'm like, okay, we lost a close one, right? But once got the full gist of everything that was going on at Bethpage that weekend, I was like, go Team Europe. Way to fucking go. Team Europe all the way. Go Rory. Like, what the fuck?
At a
Like,
golf
you
game.
wonder why people
At a
fucking
at a
paid up
golf tournament. At a golf
where
tournament.
decorum is supposed to rule and you're supposed to be fucking quiet.
It's
When they go,
golf. That's my whole thing. I said, wait, I was like, what is the Writers Cup? And then it was like it's a golf tournament. And I said, okay. And then you see what they did to that man's didn't catch his name, what they were doing to his wife and him saying he'll never come back to the United States to play. And I was just like, why do we think that's so? I mean, I know why they think it's okay, but why? And then we get in our feelings when they talk about how we lack civility, how we don't know how to act, how Americans are savages. They talk about us the way that Europeans used to talk about other countries or other continents when they used to invade and conquer, right? Like the same way. Like we are being laughed at
people
because
treat,
we don't know how to act because these ridiculous people are the face of what it means to be an American now.
yeah, people treat you how you act. And I always tell people when you go somewhere else, and I tell people who are traveling all the time, leave your American at home. Because when you're in another country, you're in someone else's house and you have to abide by their rules. And being an American is not always going to save you. And you wonder why people don't like us and don't like for us to travel because we go there and we act like we've lost our damn minds, like we don't have any fucking sense in the world. Like I tell people, you in my house, I'm very welcoming to my friends. Don't no strangers are not allowed. So when you come to my house, even if it's the first time, and Tammy can tell you this, can I get a drink? Yeah, the cups are in, the stuff is in there. And she's like, I'm like, but you here now. If you made it through
Here.
my threshold, consider yourself at home. But there's still some boundaries. You can't walk around my house butt ass naked like you would do at your own house. Like you at home, but there's some boundaries. And vice versa. I would never do that at your house. You know, but there's still some boundaries. You at home, but it ain't quite your home.
You're
Don't
right.
you know? And it's just like there's still a decorum that we've lost where people just don't know how to fucking act like human beings. And it's a fucking golf tournament, first of all. And it's just like you are so I'm sitting here as a proud American who will root for us in anything under fucking water basket weaving, and I'm cheering for team, especially once I found out what really happened. I'm like, yay, I'm so glad
Mhm.
we fucking lost. And a lot of people feel the same way I do. We deserve to fucking lose. Like y'all are letting this man and your false sense of nationalism, your horrid sense of nationalism at its worst, destroy everything good that's about us as a people. And knowing that it's the loudest, the wrongest, and the dumbest that are out here representing us. Because I can tell you, most of us are not like that.
We not like that. Sorry. Like,
We
no,
know.
because like I also when you look at who is acting a daggone fool and giving us as Americans a bad name, it's them. Like, I'm not saying that we always know how to act right. That's not what I'm saying. But when you really look at who is boldly being ignorant in public, it's not us. It's not Hispanics. It's not Asians, okay, who are boldly being ignorant in public. It's
Because
them.
most of us have a home training and we know better.
Because we have to know better. And people need to understand that. Because if I act a certain way, it's not only a reflection on me. You're not just gonna be like, that black woman over there was acting like that. Nah. You be like, see, that's what I be telling y'all about those black women. They all act like that. Okay? It's a reflection on every single person that share my culture and share my gender. Okay? Like we all get put into the same bucket. So we gotta go out of our house and act right, because it's not an individual viewpoint when we act a fool. And they're still of this mindset that it's an individual viewpoint for them. It's not a reflection on their whole community. It's a reflection on them. Now we're at the point where it's a reflection on Americans. So they got people in other countries thinking we all act like that. No matter our race, our ethnicity, our culture, we all act like that. They're starting to be along those lines of they don't like none of us Americans. They don't want none of us coming to their country. Okay, they can't stand none of us.
And honestly, if that's the way that we're going to act, the ones who get to go places and represent us, I don't fucking blame them.
Yeah,
Like the Olympics and the World Cup, if they still take place here, it's going to be a fucking shit show. Now, on behalf of all decent Americans, I truly apologize. So, our sport of the summer is wrapping up. I just want to say the NBA finals are here. The Aces, go Aces, go Aces. They're playing the Fever. They won the first game of the first 7 series final game. The first, yeah, it's a game 7. So the first 7 game possible final series, if that makes sense. So it's the
mhm.
first time that the finals is going to possibly go 7 games. It's a potential 7 game series. So you have to go 4 out of 3 for the winner. So the Aces won against a very competitive Mercury. I would not be surprised if it went the full 7. The Mercury's been balling out of control. But, I'm a tried and true diehard Aces fan. That's my ride or die team. I love Paige. I love Angel. I love several different players, but that's my team. So, speaking of players that I love, who is on a team that I'm not a big fan of, but they were the best team in the NBA all season until they lost, Nafisa Collier. Girl can ball the fuck out of control. Go Fifi. Her exit interview after an egregious call and she got hurt, and it was a no call, an egregious no call. She got hurt in that against the Mercury. Her coach got benched for the final game because she went off against the no call.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
saw her coach she was ready to throw hands at all of
girl,
them. Woohoo! throw hands at all of them. Like she was ready to go down for a girl. Yeah.
Her exit interview. If I ever send you that clip of her, just the meme, know that I'm about to read you for filth and cuss you the fuck out in the most professional way possible.
Full on. Because she was calm the whole time.
She was calm. And I loved how she started. She said, let me start this by saying this has nothing to do with winning or losing. She went through her whole thing. And then at the end, they said, would you still be here in 2? Yes. When they asked her, even if they had won, the Mercury had gone all the way, won, would she still be having? Yes, because it needs to be said. I want to be Nafisa Collier when I grow up. I wish my words came to me that eloquently. Because I would write a good one. I could write a good speech, but the more I start talking, these motherfuckers, look,
You start getting out of character.
here's the speech. But she said some things that we had talked about,
Mm-hmm.
some things that have been quietly mentioned amongst WNBA players. And as someone who has such respect amongst the players, someone who's part of the player rep, I don't understand how you could argue with that. And then for her to be an active player who's at the top of her game. And the one thing I liked is it wasn't about her. She wasn't talking about the call against her. She was talking about how we talked about the last time the Liberty, how they fired their coach who had taken them to the playoffs every time. And for the last few years, they won it all last year. One of their best players were hurt this year, and you fired her after what most people would consider a successful year. No, the Wings coach, the Wings fucking suck. It was his first year. They fired him. How do you expect to build if you don't give them a chance to build?
When you look at even the Sky, when the coach for the Chicago Sky said
Witherspoon was fired after her first year.
she was like, we're trying to build the team. Like you got to give her time to build the team up, and they didn't give her that time. They
You
like you
know,
didn't do it fast enough. You got to go, and look at them. Chicago Sky still sucks.
so it was never once about I, me. It was about we, the collective women in the WNBA. And when you had all players come out and co-sign Paige, she talked about how Angel Page, and love it or hate it, we've talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
Caitlin is part of the resurgence of the
Yeah, no,
WNBA.
yeah, definitely.
You know, how they are making less money over their 4 years considering the revenue that they bring to the NBA, the W. And then she come talking about Kayla need to be glad she got all her off the court contracts and stuff, because if it weren't for the W, she
Baby,
wouldn't
she had those when she was in college.
NIL.
She had
Angel,
those when she was in college. Like
thank you.
she'd already made a name for herself, or you wouldn't have been as interested in her as you were if she hadn't already made a name for herself when she
Thank
was in
you.
college. Like, please stop.
The reason Angel didn't come out when she was a junior is because she said it herself. I'm making more money in college than I would in the W.
Mm-hmm.
Let me maximize my potential, her earning potential, because the money from the WNBA comes off of the court. For so long, old schoolers, Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, they used to have to go. Now that the season has extended, okay? But after the season, they would have to go overseas to play to actually make their money. It's only in the last few years they don't necessarily have to do that anymore unless they want to continue to play. Some of the ones who are making less money, they still have to do that, or they have to get other jobs. So you have a league that's at its height of popularity making more money. It was only up until a few years ago, even after Brittany Griner came back, that you were still putting these ladies on commercial fucking flights. And team owners were begging you to not let that, they didn't want to have to do that anymore, but you were still insistent. So, and again, everybody, Sophie Cunningham from the Fever, baby, did you see her exit interview? Girl. But even Caitlin co-signed in her own, which I was surprised because we've talked about how she tends to be silent, like a Jimmy Fallon, and doesn't say anything about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Even Caitlin co-signed on it, and I was like, baby, how long you think Engelbert gonna have her job?
I need her to go because I feel like she's an op now at this point. You are not. Like you're not about this life. You're not about it. You're not about your players. And you're not taking advantage of the popularity of your players, right? Like we talked about this before when you kept asking, like, why doesn't Paige have the level of influence that she should have? And I'm like, y'all don't take it. You don't take it. Like they have to take it upon themselves to promote themselves because they don't really do the promotion. Like even with Caitlyn, like Caitlyn comes in, it wasn't necessarily the WNBA promoting her. It was more we just gonna let her do what she do. And
Like,
we're gonna feed off of her popularity. And I think, and then it's kind of like now you can't rein her in at all. It's like I can't stand that girl. I'm MAGA Barbie in the WNBA. But,
her
like,
read, like, her
huh?
I said, "I'm with you," but her read was spot on.
No, 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 no. And, a clock can be, right, a broken clock can be right twice, right? So, like, even with that, at the end of the day, like, she's gotten way ahead of herself in like how she acts and everything like that. She's brushing off her coaches. And y'all aren't addressing these kinds of things. And then you want to say about how they should be grateful to the W, they should be grateful to you. Damn, you should be grateful to them. Like, even the old heads, like, you should be grateful to Stewie. You should be grateful to Sabrina. You should be grateful to Asia. All right. Like, we like, cause they're definitely like bringing more popularity to the sport as well. And you just sitting back and just enjoying that. And then want to always say, oh, but it's not feasible because the W isn't making any money. Are you serious? It took 40 years for the NBA to actually start making money. 40 years for them to actually start making money. So, and the thing is, the WNBA is starting to make money now. It's taking it less time than the NBA to actually become, to make the money that they need. Like, she need to
And
go. She
let's
she
keep it
needs
a
to go.
buck.
Like,
About 10 years ago, you didn't know whether the league was sustainable. It was
mhm.
detracting. It was contracting. Now it's expanding. You have more expansion teams joining next year. You have the Valkyrie this year. The Valkyrie came in and balled out of control. It's like, I'm with you. Like, I would have a massive ad campaign, doing a lot to promote Ellie. I would get with the Liberty and say, yo, can we use Ellie for, it's like
Yo,
all these, like, you have a mascot of a team who is a fucking star, and it happens to be a
star.
great team.
Hmm.
Okay. So it's like you have all these opportunities that you are throwing away, and it should be a partnership because again, I remember when they were afraid that they would have to end the WNBA, like there was legit talk that it was going to go away. Y'all
Hmm.
were losing teams hand over fist, and now you have people lining up to add teams. Hello, Houston, we need to bring back the Comets, but I'm just saying. But and then her interview last night at the beginning of the playoffs, talk about duck and dodge. She played dodgeball with those questions, baby, because she didn't answer not a one. I've been in business for 40. I'm like, you just proved her point because everything was about you and how it's affecting your family, but you never fully addressed these questions or these issues. So, it's going to be an interesting off season and to see how this goes. But the ladies have said themselves that they are prepared to not play next season and to sit out as long as it takes to get what they want and to be able to have an
That's better than
equitable,
them getting injured every single game.
yeah,
Like,
and to
you're
be
not
able to
calling
have,
for
and
fouls.
it's like, it's not even like you're asking for half the purpose. You just want some equity. You want
Hmm.
to be able to feed your family without having to get 2 or 3 other jobs and make this your hobby when you are a professional fucking athlete.
Like, how are you not making six figures at least to play basketball? How is your lowest player still making like 45,000?
And then you talking about, well, you playing for the summer, you just playing for, that's because y'all compact all the games for the summer. Basically, it is half of a fucking NBA season, which is what, 10, 12 months? The
Like,
NBA is starting at
yeah.
the end of this month. They're going to be playing into middle of June. Y'all play 40 games, they play 80. It's a compacted season. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
It's even think of like the like PR, right? And I was like, granted, I know that NBA players do go to WNBA games, but the fact that there is such a juggernaut on the connection between the WNBA and the NBA that you should be having full teams at those games during their off season. Like full teams, every single star of every single NBA team, when they're playing where, in the city of their team, they should be at those games. front and center on the court. All right.
Especially
You should be
since
having engagement where the WNBA players are purposely having conversations and you just happen to catch them talking and joking around with the NBA. That's PR.
and well,
That's P.
they started doing it at the NBA All-Star game, like the three-point shooting contest,
Mhm.
with Steph and
But but that's competition. I mean, just showing that like support and the rapport between the men's team and the women's team, right? Fake that connection,
and
okay? Fake that.
the fact that Asia is dating Bam Adebayo from the
And
Miami
y'all ain't take
Heat,
a ben. And granted, I understand it's
it
a
does
private, it's a private thing. I get it,
and
but
I was about to say, and that doesn't count. Like, I'm not talking about exploiting their
yeah,
private
but
life. The
like
fact that they're dating doesn't count.
But friendships, where's the friendships, real or not? I don't fucking care. Like I want y'all to act like y'all the best of fucking friends, okay? Like where's the friendship? Where's the old heads? Where's Diana? What's the opposite of Diana Taurasi? And like
But you
what?
know who was great? And you know who was great at that? And you know why we missed that? Because the ambassador for that unfortunately passed away, and that was Kobe Bryant. Sabrina was under his wing. White Mamba Tarasi was under he was a huge fan of women's hoops. He was the one who was that ambassador trying to bridge that gap. And we don't really have that. We lost that. And I get what you're saying. You can't necessarily force it, but I know there was an opportunity missed when they were all in the bubble together, you know.
Yeah, like
And so I think the WNBA is just missing a lot of great opportunities. And we will keep following the story because it's going to be interesting to see
definitely.
how it plays out, especially as the playoffs continue and into the off season and the collective bargaining talks heat up. And I'm going to go that she's not going to have her job for long. I don't think she's going to survive it.
I don't know because I think she's pulling everything that she can out in order to save herself, and it is gonna come to a head. I I would just like to see her go now rather than later. I don't want more damage to happen, and I don't want the excuse of, well, the playoffs are going on, so nah, she got to go. Like you need somebody in there who actually have the players in mind and who's not about just themselves getting rich, but more you want to work for all the players to get rich. Like the league is small. Like people don't understand. Like WNBA is a small league when you look at how many players they have and how many teams. So I need you to go. Like I just need her to go. Because I feel
Like
like
you
the
said,
growth will
well,
happen once she's no longer there, and you get so. And I'm gonna be honest. I don't want it to be a man. I need it to be a woman. I need it to be another woman that takes over and growth.
someone who
There's so much growth that could happen with someone else in charge.
And to quote your favorite player, Cunningham again, you don't just need all business people. You actually need someone in there who knows something about the fucking sport and the
Yeah,
game of
definitely.
basketball. So, but yeah, I think that we've gotten, through
Yeah.
our list. Yay! And I think that is it. You got anything else to add for this week's show? No.
Nothing. I wanna end on a positive note. I think that, that we should end on a positive note. So I'm gonna keep the negativity for next time.
Okay. Well, who you going for? And we'll end on a positive note. I already said I have the aces. Are you taking the aces or the Mercury?
Asia all the way.
Asia
Asia
all
and
the
the
way,
aces.
aces.
Asia and the aces.
Asia and the aces. All right. Oh,
Definitely.
the Yankees made the playoffs. We beat our rival Red Sox in the wild card series. Go
Okay, that's
Yankees.
a
Go.
big deal because Yankee and Red Sox rivalry is top notch. That's yeah.
Yes, we beat them 2-1 in the wild card series. So now we got to face our other foe, Toronto. The Dodgers are also progressing. So it would be something if we had a 30 year of the World Series. Yankees, Dodgers, with the Yankees coming out on top this time. Yay! But we'll see.
We'll see.
All right. Until next time, that does it. I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy. Bye.
Peace.